Hello guys, welcome to lesson 5 in CSEN 102. In this lesson we are going to learn a new data type called lists, its notation and how to manipulate them. So let's get started. The lists. A list is a collection of data. So it's a data type that can have so many values in it. So let's see some of these of the functionality of the lists that we can use. So first, if you want to represent a list, you need square brackets. So if you want an empty list, you will just write the square brackets and we'll leave it empty. If you want to put some elements in this list, you are going to put the elements between the square brackets and they are separated by commas. Second, if you want to retrieve an element at a specified position, which is I, and the list is called A, so you just write A square bracket I. Third, if you want to retrieve the total number of elements in a list, which is given, like A, so we just write a functionality called len, and between these brackets we write the list or the name of the list that we want to get the number of elements. Okay, so in this case our list is A, so we get len of A. Len means length. Okay, so let's see how this is done. So let's say I have a list called A. As you can see, it has 7 elements. So what is the index of each element? So each element have its specified index, and the indices starts from position 0. So the first element, which is 5, have an index of 0. The second one is 1, then 2, then 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's say if I want to get the first element, which is 5, what should I write? I write A of 0 equal 5. Let's say if I want to get the element in position number 3, which is index 3, I'd write A of 3 equal 1. If I want to get the last element, which is 6 in our example, so A of 6 equal 30. Okay, if I want to get the total number of elements of my list, I just write len of A, which will be equal to 7. Take note that the last index is always len of A minus 1, or the length of my list minus 1. Why is that? Because I start the counting of my elements from 0. So let's take some exercises to understand better the lists. First exercise says, write an algorithm that takes as input a list and prints every element in it. So for example, I have an input or a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to output 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's see how this is done. So I will go to my code editor. So I will take an input of a list. So enter your list. Then I need my index. Why I need my index? Because I want to know where I am standing, or the position that I am standing at in my list. So the index or the positions in any list start from 0. So I will have I is equal to 0. So when should I stop? I stop when I reach the end of my list. And what is the value of the last index in my list, which is 6, which is less than the length of my list. So while I is less than the length of A, what should I do now? I should print. I should print what? I should print the element at the index I have now. So I will just print A of I. Then I need to go to the next cell or the next element, so I need to increment my index by 1, so I plus equal 1. Okay, so let's run and see. Okay, so I will enter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and it printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's good. Let's get to the second exercise. Okay. Write an algorithm that takes as input a list of positive integers and get the largest integer in them. So I have a list, have some positive integers, and I'm going to output the biggest or the largest integer. So let's see how this is done. So in this code, I need also my input and I need also my index, and the condition of the while loop is the same, because I will also get all the elements of my list. But I need a variable that contains the last larger element I have at right now. So let's call this element the big, okay? And I will set it to 0. Why 0? Because is the smallest integer number I have. So if I have any other bigger number, it will be bigger than 0. So in the while loop, what I need to check? I need to check if the element at this position is bigger than my variable big, or the last biggest element I have found. So if a of I is bigger than big, what should I do now? I should assign the value of at the position of I to the big. So big is equal to a of I. Then I need to increment my counter. I want to do I need an else part? No, because if it's equal or it's less, I don't need this element. And at last, I'm going to print the big, or the biggest number is, and big. Okay, let's run this code. So I'll enter my list. Let's say 15, 45, 1, and 80. Okay, and 30. So let's see, or enter. Okay, so the biggest number is 45. So it just go in every single element and compare it with the last larger found element in my list, and if it's more or it has a value bigger than the last big, I will assign it. And that's it for lesson number 5. Thank you, and waiting for you in our next video.